Rain lashed against the rickety window panes of Silas Finch's hovel, the wind howling a mournful dirge outside. Inside, a lone candle flickered precariously, casting grotesque shadows that danced on the damp earthen walls. Silas, a man etched with the harsh lines of a life spent battling the elements, hunched over a steaming cauldron. The scent of rich, savory broth filled the cramped space, a cruel mockery to his empty stomach. This wasn't just any stew, Silas thought, his weathered hand gripping the rough handle of a ladle. This was a crucible, a cauldron bubbling with his hopes and aspirations. A single, perfect hen had laid the plump, golden egg that formed the heart of the stew. Not just any hen, mind you, this was Beatrice, a magnificent creature with feathers the color of polished ebony and a glint of intelligence in her amber eyes. Beatrice, the harbinger of Silas' grand transformation. He envisioned the marketplace in the bustling city, a kaleidoscope of sights and sounds. Silas, no longer a ragged farmer, but a shrewd merchant, his stall overflowing with an assortment of delicacies, his secret stew the crown jewel. The aroma would attract a throng of eager customers, their purses overflowing with coin. Each clinking gold piece would be a testament to Beatrice's legacy. The gold, oh, the glorious gold! It wouldn't be squandered on fleeting pleasures. No, it would be the seed of a prosperous farm. Acres of fertile land would stretch before him, bathed in the warm glow of the morning sun. He'd buy a herd of the finest cattle, their hides the color of polished mahogany, their moos a symphony of bovine contentment. These cattle, in turn, would multiply, their numbers a testament to his burgeoning wealth. With his fortune secure, Silas saw himself as a benevolent lord, a pillar of the community. He'd build a manor house, its timber sturdy and its stone walls thick enough to withstand any storm. A grand fireplace would crackle merrily in the heart of the house, banishing the chill of loneliness that had haunted him for far too long. He'd hire servants, their respectful bows a constant reminder of his elevated status. But Silas' reverie took a dark turn. A beautiful woman, her hair a cascading waterfall of raven hair, entered the picture. She was initially charmed by his wealth and power, but as the years passed, a coldness crept into her eyes. She began to neglect the grand estate, her gaze forever fixed on frivolous pursuits. A tremor of rage shook Silas, a primal fear clawing at his throat. In his mind's eye, he saw her neglecting the farm he had built with his blood, sweat, and Beatrice's precious egg. He lunged, his hand outstretched in a desperate attempt to shake her from her complacency. A deafening crash. Silas awoke with a gasp, cold sweat clinging to him like a shroud. The candle had guttered out, plunging him into complete darkness. He fumbled for a tinderbox, his heart hammering against his ribs. The silence was broken only by the relentless drumming of the rain on the roof. His trembling hands finally ignited the candle, revealing the scene of devastation. The cauldron lay overturned on the rough-hewn floor, the stew spilling out like a mockery of his dreams. The golden egg, the very foundation of his fantastical future, lay cracked and shattered, its yolky insides spilling onto the damp earth. His breath hitched. The air itself seemed to crackle with the electricity of despair. He had been so consumed by the intoxicating fumes of his grand vision that he hadn't noticed the rickety leg of the cauldron giving way. He had built a castle in the clouds, only to have it crumble at the slightest touch of reality. The storm raged on for hours, but eventually, as dawn approached, it began to wane. So did the tempest within Silas. He didn't slump into despair, though. A steely glint hardened his eyes. He cleaned up the mess, the shattered egg a constant reminder of his folly. He wouldn't count his chickens before they hatched, no. He would build the coop first. He would start small, nurture Beatrice and build a flock worthy of his ambition. He may not have the grand estate or the beautiful, neglectful wife, but he had something far more valuable, a hard-won wisdom, and the unwavering determination to forge his own destiny, one egg, one step at a time. As the first rays of sunlight pierced through the storm-laden clouds, Silas emerged from his hovel. The world was washed clean, the air crisp and alive with possibility. He took a deep breath, the sting of the cold air filling his lungs with a newfound resolve. The road ahead might be long and arduous, but Silas Finch, unlike the shattered egg, wouldn't be easily broken. He would build his future brick by brick, hen by hen, his dreams fueled not by fleeting fantasies, but by the sweat of his brow and the unwavering loyalty of his feathered companion, Beatrice. The journey wouldn't be easy. Rumors of a harsh winter swirled through the village, whispers of empty pantries and bitter winds. Silas, however, had a plan. He spent his days repairing fences, patching his hovel against the coming chill, and meticulously tending to Beatrice's needs. He collected scraps from the market, bartered with neighbouring farms, and even ventured deep into the forest, returning with armfuls of fallen branches for firewood. One crisp autumn morning, a miracle occurred. Beatrice, the harbinger of hope, cackled with pride as she laid the first egg of the season. It wasn't golden, but its speckled brown surface held the promise of new life. Silas cradled the egg in his calloused hands, a silent vow forming on his lips. This wouldn't be another shattered dream. This was the beginning. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. The winter arrived, teeth bared and claws outstretched. The wind howled like a banshee, testing the integrity of Silas' patched-up hovel. But inside, a flicker of warmth remained. Beatrice, nestled in a makeshift coop, continued to lay her eggs, each one a tiny beacon of hope against the encroaching darkness. Silas rationed his supplies with the precision of a seasoned alchemist. He bartered his precious eggs for warm clothes and a few meager provisions. The villagers, initially skeptical of his obsession with a single hen, began to grudgingly respect his tenacity. Some even offered a helping hand, a shared turnip or a discarded sack of straw. Then, one day, a breakthrough. A travelling merchant, drawn by rumours of Silas' miracle hen, stopped by his hovel. Silas, wary at first, presented his offering a basket filled with plump, healthy eggs. The merchant, a man with eyes keen to spot quality, examined the eggs with a practiced touch. A flicker of surprise, then a grudging smile. An offer was made, a fair price that would allow Silas to replenish his meager supplies and fortify himself for the remaining winter. As the merchant rode away, a seed of hope bloomed in Silas' chest. Spring, when it finally arrived, was a revelation. The world burst forth in a riot of colours, the air alive with the chirping of birds. Beatrice, revitalised by the warmth of the sun, began laying with renewed vigour. This time, Silas wasn't alone. News of his miracle hen had spread, and villagers, eager to bolster their depleted stocks, flocked to his doorstep. Silas, no longer the solitary dreamer, became a provider. He carefully rationed his eggs, ensuring both his own survival and the creation of a small, healthy flock of hens. The villagers, in turn, offered their labour, helping him expand his makeshift coop and tending to the growing number of chicks. The journey, though arduous, had transformed Silas. He had traded his daydreams for a life of hard work and quiet satisfaction. He had built his future, not on empty promises, but on the foundation of resilience, resourcefulness, and a single, extraordinary hen named Beatrice. The dream of a grand estate may have faded, replaced by the simple dignity of self-reliance, but in its place bloomed something far more valuable, a community built on shared challenges and a respect for the unyielding spirit of a man who wouldn't be broken.